Hey guys, it is Wendy and it is Joseph. We are live to you and we're doing this video today because Wendy and I, a few videos back, we wanted to talk a little bit about what foods help in giving you more energy, because we've been talking about different things that people do to get in more energy. And Wendy had kind of talked a little bit about why people seem to eat a lot too, like thinking like what correlation food has with people thinking that it's going to give them more energy, right? You know, like when people feel tired.
Yes, there's a list. We have a list of foods, the top foods that give us more energy when we're tired, because different foods do put out, give our bodies different energy. That's why sometimes when we eat and we still feel hungry, it's because we're not eating the right foods. So if we're eating the foods the top foods that give us the most energy, we actually can lose weight because then we feel less hungry.
Yeah. So let's take a look at some of these. We're not going to go through all of them, but we found about 27 or so foods, some of the top foods that help promote energy. But like I said, you probably might eat some of these foods already, but let's just take a look. So one of the things that I liked about this was that even though all foods give you energy, some foods contain nutrients that could help increase your energy levels and maintain your alertness and focus throughout the day. And Wendy and I, guys, we are also wearing patches, stem cell patches, which we'll get a little bit later, that have helped us have focus throughout the day without necessarily having even to eat, which is pretty interesting, because a lot of times people, like it says in this article, feel that if they don't eat, they're going to feel tired, they're going to feel run down, et cetera, et cetera. So now, what would you guess, guys, is the top food that is responsible for giving you a lot of energy? And Wendy, you're probably going to tell them.
Yeah, I was shocked when I realized this was a top one, but it's bananas. Bananas was number one.
Yeah.
And the reason is because they're an excellent source of complex carbs, and they have potassium and vitamin B6, which actually really boost our energy.
So is that why monkeys are always flying all the time?
That's why they're always yeah, that's why they're so crazy.
Well, I'll tell you something.
That's why they're so playful.
That's why they're so playful, right? Let's be honest now. How many out there, and you can answer this for yourself. I will tell you, I just finished about 4 bananas yesterday. I have always, before I go to the gym many times, I will always eat 1 or 2 bananas. And is there any way to know, are bananas better eaten when they're like not so ripe? Like you don't want to wait till a banana is just like mushy and soft and starts to turn like, dark on the outside, right? You want to eat it when it's just not.
Yeah, you don't want to eat it when it's green, but you don't want to eat it when it's turning really dark brown either. Probably about just like they look in that picture.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really, but it's weird because, and have you ever figured out what, like when you break a banana off the cluster, that one that you break off starts to lose it starts to oxidize faster. Have you ever noticed that? It starts to turn brown. Have you ever heard what to do to keep bananas from oxidizing so fast? To keep them from turning brown?
I have, but I forgot what it was. I have heard though, wasn't it like stick them in a bag, like airtight bag or something like that, or a paper bag? I can't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I haven't heard that one, but that sounds interesting. That sounds like something you would do to somebody else. No, I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, I know I've read that you keep the bananas clustered and you keep them like in water or something, or you almost like you would like a plant, you would just keep the top stem part of the bananas. But that's
That's why
interesting.
sometimes they wrap them.
Oh, wrap them in more. That's what it was. Right. You take
Wrap the
paper
stems.
towels. Right. You soak the paper towels in water and you wrap the stems with paper towels. That's what it was. Okay. Thank you. Wow.
Another thing actually that you can do, and I think I learned this on Pinterest, which I do, because sometimes you buy a bundle of bananas and you want them for your smoothies, and before you use like 2 of them and the rest of them go bad and you have to throw them away. So like when you buy a bundle, like keep a couple of fresh ones, but then the rest of them, cut them. You can leave the skin on or not. You can peel the skin off. Anyways, cut them in little sections, and then you put them in a Tupperware thing and you freeze them, and they don't go bad. And then when you make a smoothie, you just grab some of those frozen chunks, and it actually makes the smoothie taste better anyways because they're frozen.
Anyway, I love that idea. Yeah, that is actually, that's a really great idea. Number 2, guys, is fatty fish. Now, what are we talking about when we look at fatty fish? Who out there loves salmon? I'm a salmon fan.
I like it if it's cooked right.
Right. I mean, obviously. Have you ever had lox and bagels, or have you ever had like a salmon spread over a bagel or something?
I don't like it that way.
Right. Okay. So you don't like it that way. I mean, as long as it's cooked, right? You're good with cooked salmon.
Yeah, I like blackened salmon and honey salmon, and that's pretty much it.
Right.
But it's good for you. That's all I know.
What about tuna? Do you do tuna?
Yeah.
Okay. So you will do tuna.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so that's a source of energy. That's a good source of protein because it has fatty acids, B vitamins, making them great foods to include in your diet. And that's one of the things that people nowadays, it's like they're trying to get enough omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin B12, talks about reducing inflammation, which is a common cause of fatigue. So sugar creates fatigue because it gives you that quick spike, but then anybody knows, that you get that sugar fatigue, really, and it's the inflammation that sugar causes, right? So that's one of the things that studies are showing. So you want to try and decrease sugar, and it talks about in cancer patients, those recovering from cancer. So some studies determined that taking omega-3 supplements could decrease fatigue. Brown rice. How much brown rice do people have? I mean, are you a fan of brown rice?
If I eat rice, I eat brown rice. Yeah, I don't waste my calories on white rice.
Right. So brown rice, does it take longer to cook compared to white rice, or?
Well, you can get instant brown rice and instant white rice, but I don't ever buy instant because they actually have to treat it and do different things to it to make it instant. I usually buy a whole grain brown rice, which takes like 50 minutes to make. And
that has all the nutrients in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, yeah, it's less processed and retains more nutritional value in the form of fiber, vitamins, and minerals compared to white rice. Sweet potatoes. Are you a sweet potato fan?
I eat them once in a great while, but they're not my favorite.
Okay. That's another source of energy for those looking for an extra boost. And coffee. You don't ever drink coffee, do you?
I never, ever drink coffee.
Yeah, right. Now, that might be the first food that you think to consume when you're looking for an energy boost. But it says, it's interesting, it says, it's rich in caffeine, which can quickly pass from your bloodstream into your brain and inhibit the activity of adenosine, a neurotransmitter that quiets the central nervous system. I wasn't aware of that. I don't know. It says, as a result of production of epinephrine, a hormone that stimulates the body and brain, increases, even though coffee only provides...
It's epinephrine.
Yeah, epinephrine, right. It says it is, even though it provides 2 calories per cup, its stimulatory effects can make you feel alert and focused. It's not recommended to consume over 400 milligrams of caffeine or about 4 cups of coffee per day.
And speaking of the coffee, when we're done talking about the foods that give us energy, we're going to be talking about the patches. And keep in mind, we're going to kind of, when we do talk about the patches, we're going to compare the energy that the patches give you versus the energy that like energy drinks and coffee gives you.
Yeah, that's a good point, because one of the things I will tell you guys is, and both Wendy and I can attest to this, is how much caffeine I used to drink prior, like before I started wearing patches, compared to now. It's like night and day. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many trips I made to Starbucks throughout the day.
I still go to Starbucks just because I enjoy drinking the coffee.
Right.
I don't need the caffeine anymore with the patches.
Right.
I need
Right.
energy. It's kind of a sustained energy.
Right.
Patch.
And that's one of the things that Wendy is going to touch on that you'll see is pretty amazing. How about eggs? How many eggs and what's the deal with eggs? Are you able to see it on your screen?
Yeah, so eggs, go down.
Okay.
So the eggs are rich in vitamin B, and they help in breaking down, these vitamins help enzymes perform their role in our body, which break down food for energy. And they have I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's leucin, which can help cells take in more blood sugar, stimulate the production of energy in the cells, and increase the breakdown of fat to produce energy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It says leucin is the most abundant amino acid in eggs and is known to stimulate energy production.
Right. Now, it doesn't say, what form the egg can be in, like hard-boiled egg versus sunny side, or...
I don't think it matters the way they're cooked. I mean, I guess I have to research that.
Well, I
guess I'd have to research that. It just says eggs, so...
No, I get that. I'm just saying, when I was younger, I mean, I haven't done it recently, but when I was younger, I used to actually blend like 3-4 eggs in a blender and make a protein drink out of it. It's I mean, have you ever had raw eggs? Have you ever had like a shake?
The only time I've kind of had a raw egg is when I ordered one like over medium at a restaurant, and they brought it and it looked like snot on my plate, and I was like, I was hungry and I ate it anyways, and then I was...
Wow. You must have been really hungry.
Yeah. So I don't think it matters whether they're cooked or not, but...
No, right. Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
It's cool. Okay, so there's apples were number 1. Bananas were number 1. Apples are number 7. And this explains why, like, sometimes some people ask me, what'd you eat today? And I'm like, man, I didn't have a time. All I ate was an apple and a banana. But when I look back, I'm like, I had plenty of energy, probably just because I was eating the top energy foods.
Interesting.
I've gone all day on just an apple and a banana many times, and I have tons of energy. But I'm also wearing the patches too, so it's probably a
So apples are one of the most popular fruits in the world. It talks about it has so much grams of carb, 10 grams of sugar, and up to 2.1 grams of fiber. But it says due to their rich content of natural sugars, apples can provide a slow and sustained energy release.
Is that talking about pectin? I'm pretty sure that's the pectin, right? Or is that different?
Let's see.
I know apples have pectin in them. They're supposed to be really good for you.
Okay.
But yeah, apples are definitely one of the top foods. That's probably why they're saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Well, it says it has a high antioxidant content. Research has shown that antioxidants may slow the digestion of carbs so that they release energy over a more extended period of time. So what we're trying to figure out, guys, is we're trying to look at sustained energy. So different from synthesized or, man-made sugar, like the sugar that you put in your coffee or the sugar that's in candy versus the natural sugars and the sustained release. So that's sort of what we're trying to look at, guys, because one of the things we're trying to figure out is why people keep eating every hour because they feel tired, like they're starting to get fatigued versus.
Yeah. Well, and kind of like our goal today basically is we want to talk about fasting, right? The intermittent fasting, how good that is for our bodies, but how when we're not fasting, we should be actually eating foods that are giving us the most energy possible when we actually do consume food, right?
Absolutely. And of course, water, even though we're talking about, apples and bananas and other foods that give us sustained energy, without water, you're basically not going to have sustained energy, right? It's essential for life. We're 70 something percent water, the body. So yeah, you have to give the body enough water, the bottle.
You give your bottle water.
bottled water. And that's, I think it's time for me to get some more water, actually. I might be dehydrated. But seriously, like one of the things that you should talk about just a little bit here is is all water created equal?
No, that's a good question.
Wendy and I just happened to realize that, I don't know how many years that you've been drinking alkaline water, but
I have been for going on probably 8 years.
Yeah.
So about 8 years.
That's
it's
awesome.
not just, it's just not alkaline though. It's hydrogen rich alkaline water.
Right. Yeah.
And hydrogen is one of the most potent antioxidants you can put in your body.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's right. So
it's drinking water, but drinking the right water is really important.
Yeah, because of what it does. We're going to talk more about what the patches do to our cells and why hydrating with enough of the right water can help when you are patching. Because this whole thing here, guys, is really to contrast what you get from foods, the energy you get from foods, and the energy that Wendy is going to talk about that we get from patching, which is pretty awesome. So we're not going to cover all 27 of these, but things like dark chocolate. Have you ever had yerba mate?
I have. I bought it one time from the health food store, and I actually kind of forgot about it until I saw this on here. It's
goji.
And goji berries. Those are good. So yeah, there's quinoa. Quinoa is actually, there's some really good quinoa recipes. I don't like the texture of quinoa. It's kind of a really weird texture, but it has a good taste.
It's rich in magnesium and folate, I guess. And you had mentioned folate to me once before.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
So yeah, I can actually list off the rest of those too. The rest of real quick. Like you want me to say the rest of the foods?
Yeah.
There's the oatmeal, yogurt, hummus, edamame. I can never pronounce that right. Lentils, avocados. Go ahead.
Talk about avocados for a little bit.
Avocados, well, they're very, very delicious for one thing.
It's a superfood.
Yeah, it is. It's they have the good fat for our body to actually help our good cholesterol.
Yeah.
So if we higher our good cholesterol, I mean, we're not talking about cholesterol today, but it is good food to help with our cholesterol. They're rich in healthy fats, B vitamins, and fiber.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that 84% of the healthy fats in avocados come from the monosaturated and polyunsaturated fatty acids, which are the good, fatty acids. So. And then there's oranges, strawberries, seeds, like chia, pumpkin, flax, that kind of seeds, and then beans. Beans are rich in nutrients, great source of energy. Green tea is good. Nuts. This is popcorn, but that's because popcorn's high in carbs and fiber, like to give like a quick energy boost.
Is that why the one of the companies called Smart Food? They call it because it helps for like a quick energy snack.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't eat much popcorn. I mean, I from time to time, I used to have a popcorn maker back then when I was a kid. I remember I used to love to watch them pop. That was the fascination about it. But and then
my grandma used to cook it on a stove.
Yeah.
Or she would shake the pan so it wouldn't burn and put her own butter on it. Now people just microwave popcorn, and actually do your research on microwave popcorn. It's cancer causing. It's horrible for you. It's like, I will never eat microwave popcorn. There's a chemical in it that causes cancer. So, I mean, I know this says popcorn. If you're going to do the popcorn for energy, I would recommend getting like your air popper.
Right.
Home butter, your own flavor, not using the chemical treated like microwaves. I would never eat those.
Yeah.
And then there's just two more, the leafy greens, like spinach, kale, that kind of stuff. And then beets. I don't like beets, but after reading this, I'm going to start eating more beets because it says that it's a new known thing that they can improve energy and stamina.
Yeah. The best way to get beets, have you ever, I know they sell them already pickled. Like I like pickled beets, almost like pickles, but you don't get all the nutrients.
I was going to say, I wouldn't, if you're doing it for the nutrition, I wouldn't do pickled. If you're doing it
raw,
salad for just flavor, but if you're going to do beets I would
like carrot,
buy it, cut it up yourself, cook it.
Right. Actually, I would even have it in a salad raw, just like you do carrots, just like shave off.
Like shaved beet. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So that was it, right? 27. So
yeah. So if you're, looking for energy and you want to get it the right way from food, those foods that we mentioned are great things to add to your diet.
Yeah. So now, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about what you can do to increase your energy, and especially if you are looking to trim down, right? Because, problem and what we are seeing is that people feel that they're never satisfied because they're always feeling fatigued because they're eating the wrong foods, partly. So now, Wendy, you're going to help us understand a little bit on where the patches help and how we can have this sustained energy release and increase other things like our focus and sleep and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So the patches, like specifically the X39, it is an energy enhancer. I don't have one on my wrist today. I have one on the back of my neck and on my stomach and I put one on my leg somewhere. I don't remember which leg it was. Anyway, I was trying different spots today. But I have, my X39, it's on that one's on below my belly button today.
Oh, okay.
But the X39 increases metabolism. It actually has ability, and what happens in the patches is it makes our body produce a copper peptide that's responsible for resetting our genes and the genes in our body to a younger, healthier state. So we actually use these patches to give us energy, which works really good if you're doing like the intermittent fasting, like we would have been trying to do once in a while, when you're not consuming these foods that give you the energy, at least we have these patches that are helping our cells act and have the energy like they did when we were younger. They also help with our metabolism.
Yeah, so tell us what you've experienced, because you've been wearing the patches as long as I have, just about. When you put the patch on in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
have you noticed that you've like forgotten to eat, and
Yeah.
it's like 3 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon, and you don't even realize that you haven't even had anything to eat, but yet you've had focus and energy.
Yeah, that's the difference. So I've always had the issue when I get sidetracked and busy that I will forget to eat. But I also then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, like I don't have the energy, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, oh yeah, I haven't eaten, but I know it because I start feeling that way. But when I wear these patches, I'm able to go until like you said, 2, 3 in the afternoon without eating, and I don't even feel like I don't feel like I have this dropped blood sugar. I don't feel like I'm like lethargic. I don't feel, I have plenty of energy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's
because the X39 is giving our cells, it's giving us the energy that we need.
Yeah. Yeah. That the first, I think 1 or 2 days I started myself, I put it on a little bit late when I received it in the mail, and I couldn't fall asleep. Like literally I was awake till 2, 3 in the morning, and I was just like had this amazing focus and energy, and I didn't even drink coffee. I think maybe I've had a cup the whole day. And that's when I realized something is different. Like something was, because you felt something similar too.
I did. Yeah. I noticed it the first day. I actually noticed, it's kind of weird, but like I noticed I was calmer, but yet more energy at the same time.
Right. Right.
Like,
And it's not like a coffee buzz, or it's not like that coffee type, people have had 2, 3 cups.
No, it's a totally different kind of energy than the coffee energy. Like it brings you up and then makes you like crash. The patches don't do that. They give you just a sustained, even energy throughout the day. And then they help you with like your cognitive abilities. Like I said, when you don't eat, you're still able to function and do your job without, having any issues of like cloudy mind from, low blood sugar and stuff like that.
I mean, we know there are people, because I've been one of them, that eat just to eat. Like they are bored, or they just feel like they just want to eat, because it is almost like it doesn't, I don't want to say it creates dopamine, but it's almost like it gives them a satisfaction to just feel like they need to eat when their body doesn't really need to eat, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, that, but then also like we've talked about before, when you're not eating the right foods, even though your stomach's full, your body is going to tell you, your brain's going to tell you to eat, because your brain is still needing the nutrition and the energy. Actually, it takes a lot of energy to digest food. So if you're eating a lot and you're eating the wrong foods, you're going to actually become more tired, because you're not giving it energy, but you're taking energy to digest it. So you're going to, in turn, be like, I need to eat it more. I need to eat more. I need to eat more, because your body's continually wanting to get energy, but it's taking the energy away from you to process the food. And so it's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
So if you just eat the right foods, your body would get the energy it needs. And then, and then along with the patches, that's part of the reason that we are not as hungry, because they're giving us the energy we need without food too. So
right. So like you were talking about intermittent fasting. So say someone wants to start intermittent fasting, and they want to see, how would they do it? Would they just say say the beginning of the week? Would they maybe not eat until, because assuming that you go to sleep the night before, when's the last time your body actually had food prior to you going to sleep. So if
oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, so if somebody wakes up, let's say they go to bed at 9, let's say that they ate at 6 o'clock. I'm just going to, then you can interject here too, what you think. But let's say the last meal they had was at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Then by the time they digest a little bit, whatever, they get ready for sleep, and they say go to sleep between 9, 10 o'clock. But then they wake up at, say, 6 or 7 in the morning, and they want to do an intermittent fasting. They wouldn't eat until maybe
10 or 12.
12 or 1 o'clock.
Well,
okay.
No, it's 16. It's like 16 hours, 18 hours. So if you ate at 6, then 12 hours, would be 6 in the morning. And if you want to do the 16-hour fast, you'd wait till 10 to eat. If you want to do the 18 hours, then, you'd wait till noon.
So what if they put the patches on right, soon after they woke up, right? So they put the X39 on. That would start helping them. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, sorry, I lost you for a second. You froze up a little bit. Yeah, so if you want to do the fasting and you want to, some people feel like they need that energy right when they get up in the morning. So put the patch on when you get up, and that patch will help give you energy to get you by until you eat.
Right. So that really is what both Wendy and I have done. I mean, I guess my thing is trying to not eat after a certain point at night, because that's the other thing that I've read, and I've even noticed it's hard for me to sleep. It's hard for my body to go to sleep if I eat too close to when I want to go to sleep, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I used to eat like to have snacks before bed, but I don't do that. And actually it seems like it's more since I've been wearing the patches. I don't feel like I'm snacking at night. I just don't. I mean, I do once in a while out of boredom, but I don't do it out of hunger.
Right. Okay. That's what I was going to ask you. So there's a difference between people who are eating just to eat, because like you were saying, out of boredom, or they're just, or versus whether their body is craving food because they're feeling fatigue. And like you were saying about your brain, so what the patch is doing is the patch is sending a signal using this light technology, light therapy, that is making the brain not feel hungry or keeping you more alert.
It gives us the energy that we need. I mean, it's obviously not going to stop people from eating if they just want to eat for the taste and they're not hungry or whatever. But a lot of people really eat because they constantly feel that craving of hunger. That's what I'm talking about. That's what the patches help with. It helps with those cravings because because our body's not craving that energy because we're getting it from another source.
Mm-hmm. And like we just saw, the foods that are higher in energy are not going to make you feel fatigue in the first place versus eating. And let's face it, anything that comes in a box is not going to be, it's going to be manufactured. It has all the, polyunsaturated or all those different ingredients that really are not healthy. And that's why manufacturers make them, because, like I had a bag of potato chips the other day and that was what I paid, for that night, because it was, but the next day, because I also, do things, I take supplements that help me to kind of keep cleaning out the body on a daily basis. So that's one of the things that I find is I go back to like resetting, and some people don't know how to do that. And they just keep piling on this food that just builds up. And, that's the thing. Plus, if you're not active, if you sit down all day and you're sitting in an office or you're sitting working from home, because a lot of people work remote these days, that's not healthy either. Just sitting for too long is not
No,
healthy.
no.
And so what we're trying to do, guys, is we're trying to get people to optimize and enhance their health and understand how these patches, wearing these different patches, because there's really almost like a dozen or so patches, that each patch has a specific part that it can work to enhance whatever that part of the brain sending a signal to the brain. Like you talked about X39. What are all the things that X39, just that one patch, can do?
Well, they do a lot of different things. So, and the reason they do a lot of different things is because they go straight to our cells. Like they stimulate a copper peptide in our body that is, well, it stimulates a signal that goes to our brain that tells our body to produce this copper peptide. And this copper peptide actually it has a whole host of benefits that it does, for our body. But it also makes our stem cells start producing. Like as we get older, we have less and less stem cells in our body, but it makes our bodies activate to make new stem cells again. And these stem cells are responsible pretty much for everything. The health of our organs, our tissue, everything in our body depends on our stem cells. So that's why they can help with so many different things, because, there's nothing that our stem cells aren't responsible for in our body.
Right. And there was some new information that I just listened to yesterday on the glutathione patch that is actually helpful for not just detoxification, really stem cell regenerative properties. I think I sent you that link.
I think so.
You might not have had a chance to, listen to it all, but I gave it a quick listen, and that was one of the things that the takeaway was how it can actually help to also stimulate and regenerate stem cells.
Yeah, and glutathione's also like the body's master antioxidant as well.
Yeah. And it's not by accident, guys, that people who wear these patches, who have been wearing them for years and years and years. Wendy and I, like I said, we've been wearing them for probably about a year or so. But I mean, there are people that have been wearing these patches for several years, 3, 4, 5 years. And you look at them and you look at other people in the same age category, it's so like night and day. I mean, just Wendy and I just looking at ourselves and looking at people that maybe are people even older than us that are not, or people that are younger than us that are not having the same health benefits and regenerative properties. Just look at them. It's really, and then with this idea of the pandemic, people being in fear, having elevated anxiety just because of what this virus, I mean, that was one of the first things, that made me think, I'm going to keep wearing these patches and I'm going to look for ways to optimize my body's natural ability to defend itself, because, our bodies produce our own vaccine. Your body can produce its own vaccines. That's why we wear things like glutathione and the X39 and, keeping good superfoods in your diet and keeping good nutrition in your diet and exercising and just having a positive focus too, not letting your fear take over, because that is the complete process, right? We know what happens when people get cancer sometimes. It's not just because bad food. I mean, you have people who eat healthy, exercise, and do all this and still end up with stage 4 cancer. And there's studies now that are showing that it's not their diet that was hurting them. It was negative energy that they had, like repressed feelings and emotions from things that happened when they were younger or growing up. And so, there's a lot to understand here, guys, that we want to, and that's one of the reasons why Wendy and I got involved with the patches in the first place, because not just that they activate stem cells, but we have patches that can actually help your mood, help stabilize your mood, to enhance dopamine production, to keep you calm and help you, So yeah, I think, so is there anything else that we should cover that we haven't covered yet? Or that I think we touched on quite a bit here, guys.
I think we've touched on everything.
All right, great. So use this information, share this information. You can go to wendyrichenergy.com. We would definitely like to hear feedback, because obviously people that wear the patches, I mean, we have people that see our videos, and you can click on any of the links underneath this video. Wendy has helped so many people. I mean, she's getting feedback, people that personally even. So, and the same thing that I've seen, people have great results. So sample the patches, risk-free. Doesn't hurt, for you to just get a sample, get a month's supply, and let us know what you think. That's the best way, right?
Yeah, you don't know how you're going to feel until you try it, and it's risk-free, 90-day money-back guarantee. So, everybody we've talked to experiences in the first 24 hours, at least, they notice more energy.
Yeah.